Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're stepping into a profound and I think really universal experience. It's those silent moments.
Yeah.
The emotional withdrawal.
Yeah.
That split second of hesitation when you feel an impulse rise up in your throat, a word, a need, a protest, and then just like that, you swallow it whole.
It's an instant neutralization of energy, isn't it? That familiar internal shudder.
Yes.
That tightening, the heat that rises in your chest, but you just manage to push it down before you nod and say, I'm fine.
Or you freeze.
Right.
The conversation gets too close to something real and you just freeze.
Yeah.
Because silence feels safer.
It feels like the only survival strategy in that moment.
And the sources are so clear on this. This isn't peace. It's not rest.
No.
This is containment. And we've become, I think, masters of it. We mistake it for being mature, maybe, or resilient.
But it's actually this heavy physiological burden.
Right.
And that distinction is so vital for you, the listener. Silence from choice.
Right.
That's restorative. It's for gathering yourself.
Yeah.
But silence born of fear or obligation, that's just a constant exhausting weight you're carrying around, often without even realizing how much effort it takes.
So that's our mission today.
Yeah.
We want to uncover the hidden mechanics of that withdrawal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how skilled have we all become at smoothing our face, softening our tone, making sure no one sees the storm behind our eyes?
It's astonishing how fast we do it. Milliseconds.
Right.
And that speed, it just proves how deep that defense is. We move so fast to repress the feeling, we often don't even register that the feeling was there to begin with.
Okay, let's unpack this. If we're swallowing all this essential energy, where does it go?
Well, it has to go somewhere.
The body is honest, right? It keeps a record.
It absolutely does. The silence doesn't just, vanish. It gathers. It has actual weight.
Huh.
If you tune into your own body right now, you might feel where your silence lives. For a lot of people, it just hums in the jaw.
That constant clenching.
That clenching, yeah. Or it gathers like armor in the neck and shoulders, forcing them up.
Or like smoke around your lungs, making it hard to take a full breath.
Exactly. It's physical.
I think we all have a catalog of these moments, don't we? I can feel that hum instantly when I think about, say, biting down a sharp word, when a partner minimizes something that's really important to me.
And you should speak up.
You should, but you override it.
Or in a professional setting, smiling when a boss takes credit for your idea.
Oh, that's a big one.
Your stomach drops, maybe your fists clench under the table, but on the surface, neutral, polite, agreeable.
Or, and maybe this is the most potent one, that instant reaction when a parent uses that familiar, disappointing tone.
Disguises concern.
Exactly. And you just immediately change the subject. You disarm. Because you learned so long ago that expressing your truth in that space meant, I don't know, chaos or rejection.
And that brings us to the core question. What fear was strong enough to stop that genuine feeling?
Was it anger? Grief?
Usually it's the fear of being seen as too much, too difficult.
We internalize this idea that our feelings are a burden on other people.
Precisely. It's rooted in this old, worn-out contract we sign as kids,
It's a contract.
If I stay quiet, if I make myself small, they'll stay close.
We trade authenticity for connection.
We think we do. We believe speaking up will lead to abandonment.
But here's the paradox, and the sources really highlight this. When we silence a feeling, we're not avoiding conflict.
Not at all.
We're internalizing it. We turn ourselves into the battlefield.
Which is so much worse in the long run. Because that self-abandonment, it immediately compromises our relationships.
How so?
Well, if you constantly override your internal no with an outward sure, you lose contact with your own truth. You teach your body its feelings don't matter.
So connection becomes a performance.
It's a performance. It's a carefully maintained facade of agreeableness, not genuine presence. And you end up feeling so distant, even when you're sitting right next to someone you love.
Let's stick with that idea of exile for a minute. If this vital emotional energy is being pushed away, what's the mechanism at work? I think this is where Gestalt theory really helps map it out.
It does. In Gestalt, we talk about figure and ground.
Okay.
The exiled feeling, the anger, the fear that gets pushed into the ground, it's the blurry background of your awareness.
And the figure, that's what's in focus.
The figure becomes the performance, the ready smile, the quick agreement, the low-maintenance identity we show the world.
Okay, so the energy is stuck in the background, but like we said, energy can't just disappear. It has to leak out somehow.
It always leaks. It mutates.
And how does that show up, that stuck pressure?
It often shows up in ways that seem totally disconnected from the original wound,
Right.
like sarcasm, or a constant low-grade defensiveness.
Chronic fatigue.
Pervasive chronic fatigue. It's an energy drain from constantly managing that internal pressure cooker.
Or that sudden, huge irritability over something tiny.
Yes.
A misplaced sock, a deleted text, something that in no way justifies that level of emotional explosion.
Exactly. It's not about the sock. It's about the backed-up silence finally finding a tiny crack to escape through.
And often, it turns inward, right?
Yeah.
That's shame.
Destructive self-talk. The loop becomes, why can't I just let it go? Why am I so sensitive?
I should be handling this better.
Right. And we have to remember, feelings are just. They're energy, impulses toward action.
Anger wants to set a boundary. Sadness wants to be held.
Joy wants to be shared, yeah. And when we block that natural flow, it stagnates, it ferments, it becomes toxic.
And that's what the sources call poison silence.
It's such a powerful term. It's not just holding back an emotion, it's slowly eroding your core sense of self from the inside.
So what should be happening? Let's look at the healthy blueprint, the natural cycle of experience.
The cycle moves from sensation to awareness, then to mobilization, action, and finally contact and completion.
And that's where vitality is.
That's where aliveness is. But when we interrupt that cycle, usually right at mobilization or action, we create what's called unfinished business.
The energy never gets to fulfill its purpose.
Never. It just loops. It becomes this open circuit humming in the background of your life, stealing your present energy to manage a past incomplete experience.
And it's so important to say, these interruptions, they aren't flaws.
No, not all.
They are learned survival reflexes, brilliant adaptations a younger self created.
Absolutely. But they can imprison the adult self.
So let's look at 3 specific patterns, 3 ways we interrupt contact.
The first, and maybe the most physically taxing one, is retroflexion.
Retroflexion.
It's the act of turning an impulse that was meant for the world inward, against yourself.
So instead of turning my anger outward to set a boundary with someone who hurt me, I turn that energy on myself.
That's a perfect definition. Instead of saying, I am hurt by what you did, you clench your jaw and tell yourself, I should be stronger, I shouldn't be so needy.
Wow.
The energy meant to assert your position turns into self-criticism, self-attack.
And that creates a body that's always braced, always tight.
Constantly prepared for the next hit because the boundary isn't external, the fight is happening inside. That's why we see so much chronic neck and shoulder tension.
It's an exhausting loop.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the second one?
The second is deflection. This is a maneuver to diffuse or minimize the emotional charge of a moment.
Like making a quick joke or changing the subject.
That's part of it. But a more subtle layer is hyper-intellectualization.
Ah, the overthinker's defense.
Exactly. You talk about the pain in these analytical, high-level terms, but you never actually talk from the feeling itself.
You keep it at a distance.
You keep it so far away that it never gets to land, not with the other person and not even with yourself. The authentic feeling is never touched, so completion is impossible.
Okay, and the third?
The third, and maybe the quietest one, is confluence.
Confluence.
This is the blurring of boundaries. You avoid difference at all costs and you just merge with what others need or expect.
The ultimate people-pleasing reflex.
It is saying yes when your body is screaming no.
And you do it out of a fear of rupture.
A powerful fear that if you assert your separate self, the connection will break. So in that merging, your own self just quietly disappears.
And again, we have to emphasize, these were brilliant strategies. They kept a younger you safe.
They did.
But that old contract, if I stay quiet, they'll stay close, is now the very thing preventing authentic connection. These defenses have become the bars of the cage.
So if you recognize these patterns in yourself, the path forward isn't about, aggressively fixing it or ripping the cage open.
It's not about forcing it.
No. The shift begins with meeting the silence where it lives, just awareness. That's the first step out.
So how do you move from awareness to reunion? Because turning toward that pain, that sensation, with curiosity instead of condemnation,
Yeah.
that's incredibly hard.
It is. It takes immense bravery. So the invitation for you, the listener, is to turn toward that hum in your jaw or that tightness in your chest and just ask it softly.
What do you ask?
What were you trying to protect me from when you made me swallow that feeling? And then, even softer, what did you need me to say or to do in that moment?
So healing is reunion, reuniting with those parts of ourselves that learn to hide in order to belong.
And realizing that, as an adult, belonging may not require hiding anymore.
But that's where the fear gets really acute.
That the fear is profound. because reunion leads right to the relationship between truth and power. The moment you start speaking your truth, you claim agency.
You're not waiting for someone else to validate your reality.
Exactly. And that is terrifying. Ownership of your feelings means you're responsible for honoring them, for acting on them. You can't outsource your worth anymore.
The risk feels so high. I mean, what if you start honoring that, no, your body is screaming? What if you speak that truth and it changes everything?
The relationship, the job.
The whole dynamic you've always known?
Yeah.
That fear is enough to send us right back into silence.
It is. And that's exactly where the counterpoint has to land.
Which is?
What if you stay silent and it changes nothing? What if avoiding that rupture is just ensuring the slow, steady decay of your own internal life?
Wow.
Gestalt theory doesn't promise safety. It promises aliveness. And aliveness always carries risk, but it's the only path to authenticity and real connection.
And when you do break the silence, the environment will react.
It will. You have to approach that with a radical self-care. Recognize that their reaction is their unfinished business, not yours.
Your responsibility is just to state your truth.
Your feeling, your need, you let it land. The simple act of honoring your truth stops the cycle of abandonment inside yourself no matter what happens outside. That's real agency.
So before we wrap, can we leave the listener with one small, actionable invitation?
Yes, a simple practice of self-reunion. Today, just bring to mind one small, unspoken truth you've been carrying.
It doesn't have to be life-altering.
No, maybe it's I felt left out in that meeting, or I needed more help, or even just I am scared about this.
And what do you do with it?
Say it just to yourself, in your car, under your breath. You don't have to send the text or make the call. Just let the words form, give voice to the exile. And then notice. Notice how your body reacts to hearing its own truth. If your shoulders drop even a millimeter, if your jaw softens just a little,
That's it.
that is the beginning of completion. You're stopping the cycle.
The core takeaway from this whole deep dive seems so clear to me now. The most radical act of healing isn't speaking just to be heard by others. It's speaking, even if it's just to yourself, to finally hear yourself. It's about being present with your own inner weather instead of trying to manage the external climate.
And if you take one thought away from today, let it be this question. What if the thing you've been most afraid to express, the truth you've exiled, is the very thing that would finally let you come home to yourself?
Let that question just sit with you. Let it meet you in the mirror. And allow the process of simply allowing your feelings to exist without judgment to begin.
Yeah.
That is where aliveness is waiting. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.